Hello folks, Emily here, your Harvest Market dietitian. I'm back with another recipe this week. We have a great sheet pan meal. So I love sheet pan meals. You throw everything on the sheet pan, throw it in the oven. It's done before you know it. So we're doing a meatball this week, but not a traditional Italian meatball. We're doing pineapple teriyaki meatballs, and they are so delicious. Can't wait to share this one with you. So I have all my stuff ready to go. I have a sheet pan here lined with some parchment paper. I like to use parchment paper because it is, first of all, I always like to line my sheet pans just for easy cleanup. But parchment really promotes nice browning, but not burning. But use foil. If you use foil, do a little bit of cooking spray on there. You don't have to use anything at all, but again, easy cleanup. Just make sure you do use a little bit of cooking spray if you're not lining your sheet pan with anything. So I've got my cutting board. I do have a grater or a zester, which I like to use for my ginger. Not necessary. You can use a box grater. Ginger is just really, really fibrous, so sometimes it's hard to chop up into small pieces with a knife. I have my ground meat that I transferred into a mixing bowl, and we're gonna get started. So we're gonna first start by making our meatball mixture, and I make it really, really easy for you because all of the seasonings are right in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour my seasoning cup, my meatball seasoning, right over that, making sure that I do get every last little bit out. Okay, so we have pepper, we have garlic powder, onion powder, soy sauce, we have a little sesame oil, some red wine vinegar, and a little bit of pineapple juice to kind of tie it all together. Okay, so then we're gonna do, I'm just gonna go ahead and zest my ginger, or grate my ginger right into my bowl, because we're gonna use all of it. I don't worry about peeling it. If it's nice and fresh, then the skin is just fine, and it's all going in here, and it just kind of melts into the mixture. And two, the reason why I like doing this is because, like I mentioned, ginger is pretty fibrous, so you're kind of left with this fibrous piece right here, and then all the meat or the good stuff goes into the bowl. So there is my ginger. It smells amazing already. You can also grate your garlic, but I find that mincing garlic with my knife is a lot easier. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and peel and then do a nice fine mince. If you have a garlic press or something you wanna use, totally fine. Again, you can also use your zester, but I find my knife does the trick. So I like garlic. We're doing two types of garlic in here. I know we're doing fresh and we're doing powder. I just find that it's really essential to good flavor. It's just yummy. And you know, not everybody likes garlic or can handle it, and that's fine. But for me, meatballs they need a lot of help. They need a lot of seasoning, and because the meat itself is really bland, and so this just kicks up the flavor like crazy. It's delicious. Okay, that's good. Going in, everything in the bowl. We are going to finally chop up some green onion. Use the whole thing. I like to fold it in half and then chop, because then I'm left with the tips of both ends that I'm not going to use, but everything else gets chopped. So I'm gonna use some lime juice in here. This is a bonus if you wanna use some of the zest. Remember, the zest really is where all of the flavor comes from. It contains all of the oils and a lot of the flavor of the lime. Lime juice is nice and acidic, and it adds like a brightness. But the zest is where you kind of get that limey lime flavor. So I want a little bit of that. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and juice it right in. Lovely. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna glove up. Actually, I was gonna get rid of my cutting board, but we need that here in a second to cut up our red bell pepper. So I'm just gonna set it aside. Okay, and so I like to wear gloves whenever I'm working with like raw meat in the kitchen. I just like to have some gloves handy. I have some at home too, for when I'm doing anything like meatballs or homemade chicken nuggets or picking apart like a rotisserie chicken. It's just kind of handy. So then we're just going to really gently kind of fold this together. We don't want to overwork the meat mixture or else it'll get a kind of a weird mushy consistency. So we just kind of want to fold everything together so that it's all mixed and we don't have kind of globs of ginger in one spot or green onions in one spot. Okay, so you're going to need a tablespoon measure, and we are going to drop these by tablespoonfuls, rounded heaping tablespoonfuls on our sheet tray, on our prepared sheet tray. So rounded means that we're gonna really kind of overstuff these. And really guys, the trick here is this is rounded. So it's pretty much like 2 tablespoons. And that's what we have. So it doesn't matter what size you make your meatballs as long as they're all the same size, because the problem is, you know, we don't want some to be overcooked and then some to be raw. So once you find that you have like a nice size, just stick with that size and try and make them all the same shape. And the thing is, you can go back and kind of pull some meat off of one and add it to the other if you need to do that. It's not like it's a final thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on getting the rest of my meatballs done, and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, meatballs are done. These are a little bit bigger than the ones that I made for the instruction sheet. So I got 3, 6, 9, 12 instead of 14 because they're just a little bit bigger. No big deal, same thing. Okay, so next we're gonna prepare our red bell peppers. And by the way, I do have my oven preheating to 400. That's what we're gonna cook these at. Take that out. Just throw those on there. So whether you do the pineapple or the red bell peppers, it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna cut these into strips, just like this. And we're just gonna put this all around the meatballs, and everything is gonna get roasted in the oven. It's gonna be so delicious. So just kind of disperse this. Bring this closer so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. All right, excellent. Then we're gonna do the pineapple next. So if you have a 4-person, you have a whole can of pineapple, simply drain the juice and then put your pineapples all around. Mine look a little bit different because I opened the wrong can and I have slices rather than chunks. But I just tore them apart and made them into little pieces. So same thing, different shape. No big deal. We work with what we got, don't we? Okay, so we're just gonna put this all around. Really doesn't matter where, just kind of evenly disperse. Roasted pineapple is amazing, by the way. It caramelizes and gets so, so beautiful. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is you have your teriyaki sauce. I love a good pre-made teriyaki sauce. This one is one of my faves because it's really just simple in its ingredients and it tastes like it's homemade. And sometimes I don't feel like making my own teriyaki sauce. Okay, so we're gonna take 2 tablespoons of this for a 2-person kit, and then 4 tablespoons for a 4-person kit. And we're just gonna drizzle, and we're gonna save the rest for topping afterwards. So don't use the same tablespoon that you use to measure your meatballs because we don't wanna cross-contaminate. So I'm gonna take 1 tablespoon and just kind of drizzle over the tops of the meatballs and everything else. And this is just gonna kind of flavor everything as it cooks. Beautiful. Okay, so this is going into our preheated 400-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. Check at the 20-minute mark, see where we're at. If you wanna use a meat thermometer, you can. We want 165. Yeah, I'll meet you right back here. Also, too, really quick, while your meatballs are cooking in the oven, we want to heat up the rest of our teriyaki sauce to get it nice and hot and a little bit thickened, because we're just going to serve this up and then pour over the sauce. So I have just a tiny little skillet here, and we're just gonna heat this up. We're just gonna bring it to a little bubble, simmer it for just a couple minutes, and then take it off the heat. We're ready to go. Okay folks, I just pulled these out of the oven, and they are browned and beautiful and smelling delicious. You can see how the pineapple kind of got a little bit caramelized, and the red peppers got roasted. So gorgeous. So again, depending on the size of your meatballs, it's gonna determine, that's really gonna determine how long you cook. So you wanna do between 20, I did about 20 minutes, between 20 and 25 minutes, also depending on your oven. So what you're gonna do then is you're gonna serve these up, and you're gonna ladle that sauce right over the top, serve it up with some rice, whatever you want. So delicious, so easy. Comes together pretty quick. Aside from making the meatballs, it's a really quick one. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see y'all next time.